Welcome back to Beyond Tactical. In this video we're going to be going over my Glock 45 build. So to start, I'm going to go over what I've done to the build and all the parts on it. And we'll start at the top. First things first, I have the Holosun EPS MRS. This one has the multiple reticle system. It has the circle, dot, and then just the circle. It's got the solar failsafe on the top, so that if you run your battery out or whatever on the range, as long as you're in sunlight, it'll still show, which is pretty cool thing that Holosun adds. And then they also have the settings on the side. This one you can do auto darkening. I don't turn on that setting. I just lock it on a certain brightness, and you do that by holding the plus sign for 5 seconds, which is a pretty cool little feature. The dot on this red dot is super nice because it's bright even in the daytime. It's not like some other dots where it's just never bright enough. And then that is sitting on the Radian Guardian. This came with the gun when I bought it, so I tried it out, and it's been super cool. This whole system is connected, this top part and the bottom, and it's altogether lighter than just a regular steel mounting plate, which I thought was pretty cool. Plus it gives a lot of protection for racking your gun on different objects or your hand, whatever. And then another cool feature to this is that it's got the backup iron sights in front of the red dot integrated into the mounting system, and you can take that off if you don't want it, but super cool little feature. And then it also comes with this front post from Radian with the typical Radian quality, and it just looks super nice the way it's machined. Down from there, I have a stock Glock 19 slide on this, because as you know, the 45 has the same size slide as a 19. And then from there, I have the Radian Ramjet and Afterburner combo, which just recently put on, but it's been performing amazing. You notice it's a noticeable improvement in muzzle rise. You still get that recoil, but it just makes the gun recoil softer and more straight back into you, which allows you to keep the dot in the window much easier. So I have this CAGWorks extended slide release, and I put that on there because my grip is super high on the gun, and I was having issues for the longest time with the slide not locking back because my hand was covering the slide release. So I put that on there, and I've had zero issues since. It's been an amazing addition to the Glock, and I'm going to do it on every single one of my Glocks going forward. It just eliminates that problem completely. And then from there, I have everything else. The guide spring is stock from Glock, and then down from there, I have just a stock Glock frame. It is Cerakoted tan, and then I spray canned it a while back over that. Most of that's worn away. And then for a light, I have the TLR1 HL, which is my favorite light for anything open carry related. It's extremely powerful. You can see extremely far with it at night, and the batteries are pretty easy and cheap to get, which is a huge thing for me, so I can store an extra few in my range bag, and I can run as much as I want, and it's just easy to get them. And then the pattern is good. I prefer this over the Surefire X300 just because it's just as bright, but it's a third of the price, which is huge for me because you're going to be beating on these things anyways, and this one is just as reliable, just as durable as the Surefire, but a third of the price. From there, we have the Glock Performance Trigger, which is one of my favorite upgrades on this gun. It's relatively cheap. I think it's $75 from Glock store, and it just takes that mushy Glock trigger feel and it makes it much more crisp. The best way to describe it is on a regular Glock trigger, you have the pull, and then you get to the wall, and then it just keeps grinding, and it has take up before it actually fires. Whereas this one, you get to the wall, and it's just a crisp break with very little take up, which I will run these on every full-size Glock from now on. Down from there, I have the Handle It Grips rubberized sandpaper grip. I've tried out just about every single grip combination you can do on this gun, and this has been my favorite. For concealed carry, it doesn't eat up my stomach like the sandpaper does, or the actual graphite sandpaper grips do, but this one, it's got the grip, but it's not as abrasive, so it doesn't catch on clothes, and it doesn't wear away my stomach when I'm concealed carrying this. And then the only other thing is this Agency Arms mag extension. I've been running this for the past few months, and at first I had issues with it because if you just try to load it without just straight off the bat, it won't a lot of times allow you to put the extra rounds in, so you got to smack it on a hard surface, and then it'll let the other ones go in, which is kind of just a little weird kink. But other than that, this mag extension has been great. No jams at all, and just the machining and everything from Agency is beautiful. So, and it came in FDE, which I like, so I got that on there. Yeah, and that goes through the full build. Now we're just going to talk about what I like, what I don't like about the gun. All right, so now to talk about the things I like. Obviously, I've built this basically from the ground up, so I like everything I've put on it. Big things about the 45 that I love are just the compact slide, and then when you add the Radian Ramjet, it becomes the same length as a Glock 17, so it works with any 17 compatible holster. And then if you take that off, now you got basically a shorter slide, and it'll work with any 19 compatible holster. And then the grip, having a full-size grip is just obviously always feels great. And then I do love how the Gen 5s have the flared magwell, so you don't really have to put a magwell on it. I've played around with magwells, and I don't think they're necessary for these. It just adds bulk, and there's no issues with finding the magwell the way it is now. So I just leave that without, I don't put a aftermarket magwell on there. I just love the way it is from the factory. And then yeah, it's just a Glock. It shoots like a Glock. It feels great. The compatibility with the MOS cut is great. So yeah, there's not a whole lot I would change about this. I'm pretty happy with it the way it is. And then I'll just get into some of the little cons that I had to work through to get this gun to where it is now. So there were a few kinks with this gun that I had to work through to get to being happy with it like I am now. So I'll just put them as cons in this video. But basically the factory slide release, like I talked about earlier, was just always getting in the way with the way my grip is. So luckily the CAGWorks extended slide release fixed that, so that's no longer an issue. Another thing I did not like about this, and I actually still don't like, which I'm considering changing, but if you add any sort of aftermarket grip onto the handle, I think that the mag release is just a little bit not quite big enough, and sometimes I'll find myself pressing it, but my finger, it's flush with the actual grip, so it's just sometimes hard to get that mag to release. So I'm thinking about getting the factory Glock one that just comes out a little bit more. So that's just a little minor issue that's easily fixed. Another thing I didn't like off the bat was just Glock triggers. You can get used to them, but it's super nice to have that performance trigger. It makes a huge difference. Yeah, I mean, those are really the only cons I've noticed with this gun. The mag capacity could possibly be better. I know that the SIG 320s come with extended mags from the factory, which is super nice. But other than that, that's not too much of an issue. And then the other thing I can think of is just with Glocks. This is just a Glock issue, but sometimes the mags don't fall out as fast or as freely as you want them to, which adding this mag extension helped with that because the extra weight just drops the mag faster. But it can be a con, but once you get used to it, it's not really an issue. You just do the Glock flick and the mags come out good. So that's sort of all the cons I got to say about that. And then I just want to talk about the Radian Ramjet and Afterburner and what that's done to the performance of the gun. So I recently added as I said earlier, the Radian Ramjet and Afterburner to this gun, and there's a full video on that with our first impressions on our channel if you want to go see more on that. But it definitely improved the recoil and the muzzle rise of the gun. Plus, aesthetically, it looks, in my opinion, amazing. Plus, it's got that fluted barrel, which is pretty cool on there. And then just the way that it's able to just make it as long as a 17 instead of some of the longer compensators on the market. Now you have to get special holsters for them. With this one, it's just you put that on, and now you got a gun the same length as a 17, which just makes things a little bit easier. Plus, the installation and everything is super quick and easy with the screw that doesn't need Loctite. So when you're cleaning your gun, you need to take that comp off. You don't got to worry about re-Loctiting it and timing it every single time. Instead, you can just pull this one off and then put it back on. It's super easy. So yeah, that's basically all my thoughts on the Glock 45. It'll probably change in the future. I think we're going to be doing a stippling job and a Cerakote on it pretty soon, but until then, if you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and our Instagram, beyond_tactical, to see more like this, and look out for future videos. Thanks for watching.